The last story that we read was Gift of the Magi. And I want your impressions. We were talking about love, we were talking about sacrifices, we were talking about all that stuff. And I mean, you hear about that and you read about that, and it's all so beautiful and so wonderful. But I told you that love hurts. And when I told you that loving someone hurts, it hurts. I mean, it can be painful sometimes, but it's a beautiful thing. Loving other people, expressing your love towards other people, especially in a way that will cost you, is a beautiful way to live life because it blesses other people. It's a blessing to others. And anything that is good and worthwhile in life is never without a cost. And if you don't know that, you will learn that. Life will teach you that lesson. So, guys, your impression, anyone, and don't make me wait, please. I'm sorry, Tyler, I didn't hear you. You were saddened by it. Why? Why were you sad? Well, look at it this way. What was the most precious thing each other had? What was the most precious thing they had? Anybody? What was the most precious thing that Jim and Della had? No. What? Each other. Thank you, madam. They had each other. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in love. I mean, I'm talking romantically because love and romance are not equal. They do not equal the same thing. Love does not equal romance. Love has many manifestations. Love can manifest itself in a variety of ways. One of those ways could be romantic love. One of those ways could be because sometimes we can confuse love for something else. But we're going to be talking about that next semester when we cover Romeo and Juliet, God willing. Because there's something that looks like love very much, but it's its opposite. But when you love, love is about the other person. Love is about giving, not taking. If you think that love is about taking, you don't know love. You absolutely do not understand love. Love is about giving. So if I have this person that I love, what I want to do is give to that person and give, and I will not hold back on what I can give. I will give my entire being to that person, and it's not just a pretty thing to say. It is something that we do, and it might be costly, and it might be painful, it might hurt, but you do it joyfully because when you love, the first person in your mind and in your heart is not yourself. So to love is to be selfless, not selfish. Selfishness and love are like water and oil, they do not mix. So if you've ever seen some people being selfish and they say they love someone, remember that actions speak louder than words. Now, there are material things that we have affection towards, right? They have what we call sentimental value to us. Um, I'm sure that how many of you have a toy that you remember? Or you probably still have it. You probably don't have it anymore. Are you remembering that toy? Anybody else? You didn't have toys, guys. What did you have? A cell phone. Because yeah, that's what they do now. People have babies and they throw them a cell phone and think that's cute. And that is horrific. The children need toys. And some adults need toys too. So but they're more expensive. Um that toy that you're thinking of, was it one of the most expensive toys you had, or probably one of the cheapest toys you've had? If you know that, because maybe you don't. one of the cheapest ones. So maybe it was so maybe it was this McDonald's thing that came with your Happy Meal, and that's your favorite gift of all time, your favorite toy of all time, and maybe you've had toy that cost hundreds of dollars, and you probably don't even remember them because they have it's called sentimental value. So sentimental value has nothing to do with monetary value. And what did Jim and Della have sentimental value towards? A prized possession that they had. Remember, keep in mind that the most prized possession they had was each other. When Della looked at Jim, she said, he's mine. He belongs to me. And when Jim saw Della, she's mine. She belongs to me. But other than that, what was Della's most prized possession? Why? Why? Why hair? But what does the length have to do with you appreciating something? Whether it was long, short, or medium. Um, we live in times, guys, when culture is changing in ways that a lot of us find ridiculous. How some things have become important, and other things that are important have been devalued. But I can tell you, honestly speaking, and historically speaking, that hair throughout the entirety of human history, all the way up to the 20th century, has been something that has always been associated with womanhood and femininity. That stuff of seeing women, shaving half of their head or shaving off their head or having like short hair like a boy, that's recent. That's a recent development in world history. Throughout the entire of human history, um, hair is something that is long hair, especially it's very feminine. And I know that I'm talking about a concept that is kind of alien today, femininity or masculinity. And these things are devalued. And I find it sad, hilarious, and dangerous that we devalue these things that throughout human history have been valued very much. But and for me, they're important. I believe that men should be masculine and women should be feminine. And boys, I don't know you, but I find long hair, especially if it's well kept, something attractive, something beautiful in a woman. Do you see it the same way or do you see it differently? Because you belong to a different generation. And you see that, I mean, the women that I know, sometimes they give more value to their hair than to their bodies. I find it like, I'm fat, but I'm going to iron my hair, so I'm beautiful. Pero la vajiga me llega al piso. You know what I'm talking? Do you see it? What I'm talking about? Okay, so that was her most prized possession, and Jim had another prized possession. What was it? His watch, and the type of watch that he had was not the type of watch that you usually see today nowadays. And we men, I'm still old fashioned. I like wearing a wristwatch out of habit. But the type of watch that he had was not a wristwatch because the wristwatch has not been invented yet. And he was not carrying a clock on his back either. What type of watch was it? Okay, that's what we call in Puerto Rico. I don't know if it's widespread throughout Latin America, through the Spanish-speaking world, but in Puerto Rico we call it un gelo cebolla because the metal part has like ridges and it might look like an onion to some people, even though it's not a sphere. It's just round, and you put it in your pocket, and but it was missing an accessory. You know that things to look better, we like to accessorize it. For example, sometimes for some women, hair, however beautiful it may be, is not enough. So Jim decided to buy what? Those of you that read the story, what did Jim want to buy? Exactly. It's decorative. That's something that you use to like comb your hair. It's actually a decorative thing. Have you seen in different societies uh, these women in Spain, las majas, they wear a big comb in the back of their head. You've seen them, right, ladies? Okay, so that comb, that's what we're talking about. And geishas might use something different in Japan, very similar, right? And it's supposed to be a decoration that makes the hair more beautiful, right? Or the head more beautiful. It's an ornament. I mean, when you put a Christmas tree, you just don't put the tree, right? You put ornaments on the tree to make it look even prettier. So the idea behind the comb was to make her hair look even more beautiful. But men are more practical than women. And the watch that Jim had was lacking something. And Della knew it. And Della wanted to buy that. Buy what? Those of you that read the story. What for? A chain. It will keep what functionality would the chain have? It will keep it from getting lost because it could easily get lost. It can fall from the pocket. He can take it out and think that he's putting it in the pocket and it landed in the floor. But the chain will keep it safe, will keep it secure. And it also is decorative. That chain will be decorative also. So I don't know if you've seen men with a chain down here in a pocket in their suit and it will look like decorative. That will be holding the watch, keeping it from getting lost. So all these gifts were, as you know, were too expensive for them, and they had to go beyond their means to acquire these gifts for each other. And that meant that they had to part with these things that were special for them. So if something is special for you and you're giving it away, what are you doing with it? The S word. Sacrificing, exactly. It's sacrificing. So had have you witnessed someone sacrifice something for you? Have you seen that? Someone make a sacrifice for you? Some people see it, some people are blind. Some people that believe it, Andres, some people are very oblivious. And they might have something in their face and they don't see it because they're probably too self absorbed, if you understand what I'm saying. But I appreciate that you are so observant. I really appreciate that a person your age is so observant. And we need to look around, guys. You're not always be looking at yourself and your needs and your wants and your desires. You have to look around. That's part of what growing up and becoming an adult means. And have you seen someone sacrifice for you? Doesn't that make you love them even more? I mean, see someone they did that for me. It's not they're giving me stuff. It's what it cost them. To Della cost her most precious possession, other than her husband, her hair, and the husband his most precious possession because it was an heirloom. It was something he inherited from his father, and that has tons of sentimental value because there's no amount of money in the world that can pay for that when it's sentimental value. He lost his watch. So now the funny thing at the end was the irony is she had no hair for the comb, but probably did not have enough hair for the comb, and Jim had no watch for the chain. But at the end of the day, they had what? What did they have? They had love for each other. Uh, who can beat that? Is there something that can beat that? No, no, you can't beat that. You know, having your loved ones with you, nothing can pay that. Nothing. So next time you receive a gift, sometime you get something material, consider what is behind it. So that's why I like this story so much. Guys, let's move on then to today's selection. Actually, it's three selections, and they are very short. Today's lesson is titled in the book, Comparing Themes Across Genres. I'm not a big fan of the title. I would have renamed it, but I avoided renaming it to avoid your confusion. But I completely disagree with the word genre there. I would have used forms. My understanding is that forms would be the correct one, right? Comparing themes across forms. Because as you know, literature assumes different forms. And these forms can be a short story, a novella, a novel, a poem, even a picture. Yes, a picture can be literature. Even though literature means litera, letter, literature is broader than what you imagine. So today we're going to be comparing. And what does comparing mean? When you're comparing, what are you doing? I'm sorry? Actually, there's something called comparing and there's something called contrasting. So when you're comparing, what specifically are you doing? Compare. What are you doing? You're looking for similarities. When you're contrasting, you're looking for differences. So the title of this lesson is Comparing, looking for similarities. And you're comparing themes. And a theme is like a central idea or a central statement that you make regarding a specific topic. And what will the topic be? Choices and journeys is what we're going to be reading about. I don't know you, but we can look at life like a journey that we have been embarking on since the day we were born. Uh, and I have a question for you to set you up for the reading. Can a single decision change the course of our lives? If so, how? So it's asking for an example. So let's begin with the question. Question: can a single decision change the course of your life? So you're presupposing that your life is moving in a certain direction. Can one decision change that? Okay. All right. Anybody else? Miss Soto, what do you say? Can a single decision change the course of your life? Yeah, you're Soto, right? Okay, that's you. So you know what I saw yesterday? I was watching the news yesterday, and I saw the news. This particular news was, and thank you, Miss Soto, was completely horrifying. It involved four teenagers. Well, it involved more, but this 15-year-old girl, this chubby girl, she had this ex-boyfriend from in high school, and they were still communicating somehow in through social media. And apparently, there was some kind of disagreement, and she got real mad at him. She said she was going to like kick his butt or whatever, because now girls want to kick boys' butts, which I find hilarious. And she had this new boyfriend who was 18, and she had two other friends, one 14 and the other one 16. And they decided to go to the guy's house I don't know what the disagreement was over, and attack him. So and they don't even know. The only person that knows this boy is the ex girlfriend. So she's they go in a van, in a church van, and this girl, the ex, stays in the van, and her friends are the ones that go to the house of this guy to kick his butt. So they go to the front house, to the front door, and they knock on the door, ring the bell, and the boy that lives in the house, the ex, goes out through a side door to see who is it. And when he sees who are these people, they attack him. They go into his house. Look how crazy that they go into his house, and there's like a camera in the house or something. There's cameras, there's security cameras in the house. It's very common nowadays. And they're like attacking this guy while one of the girls is recording, and the ex is in the van. While this is going on, the kid's mom arrives home, and she's like, "What is this going on in my house?" So when they see her, they run away. They get on the van. The woman gets in front of the van, like, "Wait a minute, who are you?" And they run over her. She dies. This woman was a school librarian at that high school. What I heard was she was a very nice person. It happened in Florida. They ran over her. She died of her injuries. And now they're going to charge these guys, the four teenagers. They were caught later on because a lot of people saw what happened and they chased them until the police arrived and intercepted them and arrested them. They're going to be charged as adults. That means that the judicial process that is supposed to be working out towards a juvenile, which is different from an adult, will not take place. It will be they were charged as adults, and the judicial process will be an adult one. And what they are looking forward to is rotting in jail for the rest of their lives. Conspiracy, burglary, murder, people your age. And what they're contemplating now is life in jail for until they die. One decision, one stupid decision. So if there was any doubt in anybody's mind that a single decision can change the course of your life, we know better, right? We know better. That's why it's so important not to be uh, passionate, to keep our passions in check, because a hot head is not a good head as far as making choices and making decisions. As I said, you're going to be comparing across forms. You're going to be reading Airport, which is a short story, The Road Not Taken, which is a short poem, probably the most famous American poem. And you're going to be observing a photograph that is titled Untitled Film Still number 48. Today, you're going to encounter three ways of exploring the themes of choices and journeys. And I want you to read actively by making and evaluating predictions and rereading and questioning. Those should be the strategies that you're going to be using for reading. I remind you that the literary concept that we will be exploring today is theme, and a theme is a broad idea in a story or is a message or a lesson that is conveyed by that work. The message is usually about life, society, or human nature, and it must always be something that can be expressed in at least one sentence. For example, let me use an example. Let me say something. I would like for someone, let me choose someone. Miss Arroyo, say something about war. Anything. Whatever you want to say. I thought your microphone was working because I heard you earlier. It's faster than typing. About war. WAR, war. Okay, I'm going to take that. I'm going to make a sentence, which I was expecting a sentence, a statement. She's saying war is sad. That could be a theme. A theme is what you say about a topic. If the topic is war, what you say, war is sad. And I'm sure that if I ask you all something about war, you have something probably different to say, or maybe something not that different, right? But a little bit different. So remember that a theme is not the same as a subject or a topic. A topic is something you express with one word. A theme is what you say about that topic or subject. It's stated as a sentence. You're going to be comparing themes by reading Airport, a short story about Samir and Hoda, who are Egyptian immigrants, and they agreed to follow through with an arranged marriage. So it's a very short story. It takes place in an airport. That's why it's called Airport. You're going to be reading The Road Not Taken, which is a short poem by Robert Frost about choices made in a path when the speaker of the poem, is walking on a path in a row in a forest, and then it forks. And the question is, should I take this road, which seems to be more traveled, or that road, which seems to be less traveled? Very symbolic, very metaphorical poem. And then you're going to be looking at this picture. This photograph is one that provides a different way at exploring the theme of choices and journeys. I want you to think in choices and journeys as you look at that photograph and answer the question, how will her choices affect her? Just by looking at that picture, because that picture tells a story. They say that an image tells speaks more than 1,000 words. So you have more than 1,000 words there. And once you do that, you're going to use this chart to do the comparison as you read. And there's a writing focus in the wrap up that I need you to do on page 395. Just a writing focus, nothing else. Question, guys, of what needs to be done today? Anyone? So it's very clear. So, guys, if there are no questions, God willing, I will be seeing you all Friday morning, and then we'll be seeing each other in the flesh. Um, oh, that didn't come out too nice. Not naked. I mean, face to face, right? We'll be seeing each other face to face, hopefully in the afternoon. All right. So I'm going to ask those of you that owe me a test to stay here, and everybody else to exit. Okay. So you take care, and I'll see you in a couple of days.